Oh, cool. I just now noticed the gate's open today. What's really interesting is I thought about vlogging this little oasis where this gate leads right here. And you can see that it's open today, but it actually has a long kind of trail that goes through here, and then it goes into this oasis. It's really cool. It's amazing. I'm listening to David Bowie's isolated vocal tracks. And what's amazing about David Bowie is, well, of course, he used, you know, computer technology or studio technology, I guess, to affect his voice, you know, but his voice itself was very soulful compared to other voices, and he was very, 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 very gaunt and thin. He was a very skinny person most of his life, even kind of towards the end. And what's interesting about Bowie is he was quite the failure as a musician starting off. None of his albums really sold. He, you know, even when he did Space Oddity, the album didn't sell very well at all. He couldn't even tour with Space Oddity when it first came out, and he did the single. And basically, it took him a long time, more than 9 bands he went through, and never succeeded as a musician. He failed over it. And actually, a lot of his songs, when he started off, were very childlike, you know, like almost like nursery songs almost, and it was just horrible. But now they've been able to take some of those songs and remaster them, and they're actually coming out with different versions of those songs because his voice was so soulful. They're able to lay down original music to some of those songs because the bands just didn't have it together at that time. But right after Space Oddity, he finally came out with Hunky Dory, and then he became a superstar and was able to tour. It took him a very long time before he was even, you know, he was never really able to tour starting off. Had a lot of problems. And then finally, you know, Hunky Dory made him a superstar. And then eventually, you know, songs like Fame and, of course, you know the rest. It's funny, I went in at 7-Eleven. This guy asked me why I took a picture of the monitor screen, and I told him I didn't. And then I told him I went to the New School of Social Research, or New School of University, where Sean Baker went, you know, that did Tangerine and Florida Project, which he didn't hear of, or he didn't know of those movies, Tangerine and Florida Project, because I went, basically was kind of a peer of Sean Baker, as well as other actors and stuff. And then I told him that I didn't take a picture of the screen because I didn't. I took a video of it because I'm talking about David Bowie, and it fits, you know, the kind of thing when David Bowie was with David Lynch doing Twin Peaks and walks onto that monitor and disappears, which I really couldn't make myself disappear, really. And then, you know, I told him, you've heard of the New School, you know, like Marlon Brando went there, you know. You heard of Marlon Brando. He asked me if I heard of some sports figure, Trout. He went to school with some guy named Trout, and I haven't heard of him as some sports figure, because I don't watch a lot of sports. But I am a Nolan Ryan fan for, you know, the Texas Rangers. What's interesting about David Bowie is he actually got a demo copy from Velvet Underground before Velvet Underground was even published, or anybody even heard of Velvet Underground. Nobody have heard of them. And David Bowie in Europe, being in, you know, South London, got a copy of Velvet Underground and was really impressed. He eventually wrote a song about a gnome and was trying to copy Lou Reed's style of simplicity on the guitar, and from there a lot of his stuff is very simple, even though there are very complex songs that he's written. One song he wrote was Life on Mars, or Is There Life on Mars? And he wrote that song, and it was actually a very complex piano. Look way out in the distance right over here, you can barely see it. That's actually Buc-ee's. Well, I just picked up some panda, Asian food, and headed to Ponder. I was thinking of Ponder and Panda, Panda and Ponder. That's the Speedway right there, and also known as No Limits, Texas.
These are red lights.
All right, now we're headed to Ponder. Got the Panda. I agree that David Bowie was a good actor. Grim Life Collective vlogged station to station kind of feeling of Bowie, and vlogged a little house that he lived in with a haunted pool. The pool was possessed, and he did an exorcism during some stressful times, recording station to station. Now, the thing about Bowie in acting, I do think he had some good roles. Labyrinth, of course, was a really good one. And I think Grim Life talked about how he never wore a costume. You know, I think he did wear a costume, but I think that he put his personality into his work. He also put his personality into his music, using his accent in a lot of his music, and you could really tell where he was from. But I don't think that he was fake. I think that he was very real. And I think that's what Grim Life was saying, was that he didn't wear a costume, and the fact that he wasn't just under makeup. He was really exposing his personality and what he did, and that did come across, especially in The Last Temptation of Christ with William Dafoe, because he played Pontius Pilate. A lot of roles were like that he was very real. my favorite David Bowie songs. I think it'd be really cool to use in my document. Well, it's not a documentary, it's more of a movie, Deep on Elm. It'd be really cool. We're about to pass by a really cool railroad track right here. Look way down there, you can actually see that's approaching a Buc-ee's. You look straight ahead, you will see a Buc-ee's. I'm trying to get to Fort Worth. You know which way Fort Worth is? Maybe your friend knows. Yeah, the lady told me, "You have a good night." It's not even nighttime right now. Dance, 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 dance on the radio. Dance, 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 dance on the radio. So it's dance on the radio. I made that mistake twice. It's dance to the radio. Dance to the radio. I can't, and he's right behind me, pissed off. I'm trying to go like as quick as I can, like 45. A lot of times they'll get so crazy, but they seem to be kind of flipping out a little bit. I don't know. Kind of taking it easy on this curve right here, though. I was trying to get the sunset. I got some of it. was funny because that time I bought my Kalashi. She said, "You need a receipt," and I just kind of walked off, so she couldn't say goodnight.